are getting set for the Panthers and the Lightning. Florida comes in 4-0 in the preseason. The Lightning 1-3. This is the first of 3 consecutive games this week. They'll play Thursday in Tampa. Saturday night, the Panthers will host at FLA Live Arena in Sunrise as they're going through some pregame ceremonies here. And then next week, both teams will open up against the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Lightning are home against the Penguins a week from tonight, and then the Panthers play the Penguins a week from Thursday night.
Yeah, raising the banner on opening night, that's going to be a really emotional scene because it'll be fans in the stands. What a huge difference that'll make.
Yeah, a little different look as well when both teams, the Lightning and the Panthers, open up. The Pittsburgh Penguins come in, but going to be without their two top stars in Crosby and Kenny Malcolm. Yeah.
Well, second winningest coach in NHL history, Joel Quenneville, starting his 3rd season with the Panthers. So much optimism coming off a franchise record best season. This is the 3rd time these two teams will play in Orlando. They did it back in 1996, did it in 2018, and now again this season, Spencer Knight and Andrei Vasilevsky. That's when we last left the Panthers and the Lightning in the playoffs. They were going at it in the nets.
Yeah, no doubt. And boy, what a series that was. Just incredible. Game 1 of the series is still talked about. In my 30 years of doing broadcasting, it was my favorite game ever to do.
And that game was something else in South Florida,
so much
back
emotion.
and forth.
Yeah.
Lightning able to win after Spencer Knight at 20 years old was able to keep the Panthers alive, winning Game 5 at home, and then Tampa won Game 6 at home. And, of course, the Lightning went on to win the Stanley Cup.
And I think we can expect these last 3 preseason games playing each other, that the physicality, the intensity will be on display.
These two teams don't like each other, and that was very apparent down the stretch, the last 2 games of the regular season in particular, but the playoffs, starting with that Game 1. I mean, there was just pure hatred out there. Love it.
Well, you see how we're aligned in the broadcast booth, Brian. You're in the middle, so you got me and Moeller on either side. If you try to start some...
no chance.
Yeah, you can't start any stuff up. Panthers have Matt Kierstead, number 8, and Chase Prisky's a great story. Grew up in Pembroke Pines as a Panther fan, used to go to the games, played college hockey at Quinnipiac. Panthers got him in trade from Carolina. He's pushing to make the roster or perhaps go to the AHL. Just number 22 in white is a great example of the growth of the game in the state of Florida.
Yeah, it's coming. Championships will do that for sure. Florida getting to the finals a long time ago. Lightning winning in 04, and then of course these last 2 back-to-backs. It's changed the way kids think about hockey in Florida. That's what you need. Those championship teams get everybody's attention.
Well, and that's how old I am. As I taught Chase Prisky hockey school, the Florida Panthers hockey school.
That's awesome.
Panthers playing their top 2 lines tonight. Barkov, Reinhart, Duclair in there with Carter Verhaeghe, the former Lightning player, out with an injury. And then it's a line we saw so effective in that playoff series, Huberdeau, Bennett, and young Owen Tippett.
Well, I think it's very healthy and positive, Brian, that both teams are fairly healthy. They've no real major injuries, and it looks like both teams will start the season at almost 100%.
Yeah, keep our fingers crossed. And you mentioned Carter Verhaeghe. You know what? Every guy on the Lightning team didn't want to see him to get, be too successful in the playoffs for sure. But every time he scored a goal in the regular season, I know the guys were talking about it. They loved Carter. He was great in the Lightning organization, and he was terrific for you guys here in Florida.
Lomberg and Maroon both on the ice together. That was quite a treat last year in the playoffs. Those 2 guys.
Lomberg and Sergachev went at it.
Yeah.
And Lomberg really got under Sergei's skin. Absolutely did. I had a lot of respect for Lomberg, how hard he played and what he was able to accomplish in that series. He got after guys, and he ran them, and he got some guys distracted. And I remember saying it a couple of games, especially early in the series, that Sergachev had to find a way to get it. Either fight or do something, or focus and play the game. But Lomberg was able to accomplish that.
Here's Sergachev with a centering feed. Barry Boulay misses that shot wide. And, of course, Lomberg got the goal that got the Panthers back in the series after the Lightning were up 2-0, the overtime goal in Game 3.
And that made it worse.
What a game that was.
Yeah.
Well, you just saw right there, Sergachev for the Lightning stepping in and making a play, and then Kierstead for the Panthers, young defenseman. Both these teams, they play very similar styles. Brian, with the five-man attack all the time. When you have that puck, there's no standing still. The defensemen are got to activate and be a part of the offensive thrust.
Tremendous amount of respect earned by both teams in the way that they played last year against each other, especially in the playoffs. Here's a look at John Cooper, two-time Stanley Cup winner. People don't realize John Cooper has coached 7 championship teams now, going back to Detroit Junior B, 2 in the North American Hockey League, 1 in the United States Hockey League, 1 in the American League, and now 2 Stanley Cups. So there's a reason that he's going to be the Olympic coach. It's not just the 2 Stanley Cups. He's got a reputation of being a winner as a coach.
And well-deserved.
You bet. You got to stick to your beliefs. Coaches, and Cooper said that. He learned that a long time ago from other coaches. Whatever you believe is right and how to coach your team, you stick with it.
No stick for Spencer Knight, but he's able to make the save on Colton, who had that huge playoffs last year. Boy, what a run he had, and scored some really big goals. You know, as did Brian, guys like Yanni Gourde, Blake Coleman, Barclay Goodrow, you know, they all had to go. I mean, you know, when you win, that's what happens. You can't pay everybody. You got to replace those 3 guys.
Yeah, became the best third line in hockey. There is no doubt. Yanni Gourde's line was absolutely fantastic. And one of the things we're going to talk about later for the Lightning, all 3 of those guys killed penalties. And the Lightning penalty kill was good. I think they ended up 4th overall, and it's always important in the playoffs. That line, Gourde, Goodrow, and Coleman will be sorely missed, but it's certainly not impossible. I think it's going to look, and people keep asking, who's going to replace that line? I don't know that any combination will. It's going to be, who knows, maybe the Cirelli line becomes more of a shutdown line. We'll see. But they're definitely going to have to recruit some new guys on the penalty kill, and it could be a little painful early for the Lightning.
Aaron Ekblad back for the Panthers, missed the playoff series with an injury. And there's a shot, and Frank Vatrano scores. Frank Vatrano had a hat trick earlier in the preseason, picks up the loose change there and beats Vasilevsky, and the Panthers have the lead 5.5 in.
Yeah, Frank Vatrano's in the right place there, and the Lightning just coverage is a little bit loose, but it's the rebound here.
Yeah.
Get the puck to the net, the shot from the angle, and just right off the toe of Vasilevsky. That one would have been well left. It would have gone into the corner and nowhere near Vatrano, but he got it.
Yeah, and then just the timing was perfect. You see Vatrano coming in from that left face-off circle and found it on a stick. Boy, has he been red hot. Had a hat trick just a few days ago, and the Panthers' big win over the Dallas Stars. So
you don't see Vasilevsky come out on an angle that much as a rule. He doesn't leave the top edge of the paint very often. This is early on in the season for sure, but that one he had no chance to get across because he was out on a big-time angle.
And you're playing a coy. It's not going to happen in May and June. We know that with Vasi, right?
He's a machine.
In early October, it's okay.
Absolute machine. Yeah, I mean, Alex Killorn was asked about the team, you know, first day of training camp. He said, yeah, we're going to have a lot of changes. That's very obvious. But we've got 88 in goal.
So Ekblad gets one of the assists, Marchment the other. Aaron Ekblad was having a great year last year for the Panthers. He and Uyghur, one of the best top pair in the NHL. Ekblad suffered an injury at the time. He was tied for the lead amongst defensemen in goals. Uyghur really stepped up in his absence, but they did miss, Randy, Aaron Ekblad a lot in that playoff series.
Oh, certainly. I mean, he's just a minute muncher out there, and offense, defense.
I'm the first to say, too, that had Ekblad been available for Florida in the playoffs, absolutely could have changed the series. Going to play 20, 25 minutes a game, power play guy, penalty killer, minute muncher, as you said, plays at a high level, Randy. I'm sure that the Canadians are going to be looking at him for possible Olympics, and well, they should. He is a talented guy. You have to be lucky in the playoffs. Your big guys have to stay healthy, and unfortunately for the Panthers, Ekblad couldn't make it.
The Panthers would have had to make it to the 3rd round for Ekblad to probably play. Here's Huberdeau gliding in. Huberdeau, Barkov on the ice together here. What a year Huberdeau had, and has had the last 3-5 years, just become a real dominant player, one of the best playmakers in the league. Kachuk sends one wide. And Udavara ahead, too far for Huberdeau. So Wendell splitting up Huberdeau and Barkov, so they're on two separate lines. Here's that regular Huberdeau line with Bennett and Owen Tippett.
Yeah, you talk about one of the players who's taken a step up, and I think the offseason was exceptional for Owen Tippett for the Panthers. He's watching him in training camp and in the preseason. He's gained some strength and put on a few pounds, and I think he's really becoming more comfortable in the role that's expected of him with the Florida Panthers. Everybody knows about the NHL shot that he has.
Now, if you notice 10 in blue, that is the veteran Corey Perry, who has played in the Stanley Cup final each of the last 2 years. For Toronto with another chance. There's Vasilevsky over with the left pad.
He was in the mirror image place for Toronto from where he scored the goal just a couple of minutes ago, coming in off the right wing side. And yeah, he had a good look at half the net from the other side. At that time, Vasi, who did not leave the crease, got that leg across. I still maintain Vasilevsky has the best legs in the league. Unreal how fast he is.
But Toronto has the goal early on, just underway from Orlando. Preseason, the Panthers and the Lightning.
4 cup holders.
One player everyone watching this broadcast should be very familiar with by now is forward Carter Verhaeghe. He's a player to watch this year. Back for year 2 on that top line with the Panthers, Alexander, Barkov, and Verhaeghe won the Stanley Cup with Tampa back in 2020. And over the summer, he finally got his day with the cup. He told us he took it home to Toronto, brought it to the fire station where his dad Thomas works, got to take it around the community. He said he even got to take it up on the fire ladder, which he says was the coolest part of the day. Definitely had to wait a little longer than he expected, but certainly worth the wait.
Well, that's great to see from Verhaeghe, and great story of his career, coming up a couple of different franchises. The Lightning get him. He's in Syracuse. He's got to go to Benny Drew, the great coach for the Crunch, and tell him, hey, get me in the lineup. I can play, and winds up leading the league in goals.
Ben's the one that said to him, you got to become a better skater, and he did. And that's why he was able to get into the NHL a couple of years ago and then have such a terrific year for Florida last year.
Carter told me last year he really watched everything and studied what Braden Point did. And as it turns out, of course, that's a heck of a guy to follow. Nice save there by Spencer Knight. And Randy, that's one of the big questions. Spencer Knight, how good can he be, and how much will he play this season, the 20-year-old for the Panthers?
Well, what's amazing to me is you talk to those goaltending experts around the National Hockey League and former players, guys like Roberto Luongo, Martin Brodeur, they say the skill level and the confidence and the poise, and he's only 20 years old, Spencer Knight, and what he displays. And Goldie, you and I have had a real up-close look at him with a full training camp and what he does day in and day out, and just continues to impress.
It was remarkable to watch him on the other side, come into that playoff series last year at the end of it. And TV timeouts, tip the mask up. He's got a smile on his face. It's like he's laughing. Like there's no nerves. It's like he was, skating on the lake somewhere.
I was scared to death for him. And there he was, like you said, he's just spitting water, and he's got his mask up on the timeouts and just enjoying every moment. and staying in that focus, in that zone.
And especially, he got scored on the first shot, right?
That's it.
Very first shot in the NHL in the playoffs, he gets scored on, and then no problem. Didn't bother him at all. He played a whale of a game after that. It's not that it was a bad goal, but the fact that he got scored on right away and then recover and play well in the Stanley Cup playoffs, phenomenal.
That's about as loud as I've heard that Panthers arena in a long time. When Spencer and I made those saves on that Tampa power play, I think it was 6 or 7 shots on goal. And congratulations in order for Sergei Bobrovsky, who's supposed to play tonight, but his wife Hoya impending having a baby, so their child.
Oh, that's
so
great.
Congrats to Bob and the family. Yes, sir. These teams will play Thursday in Tampa, then Saturday night in South Florida, 6 o'clock at FLA Live Arena. That is the new name of the building for the Panthers. Player in Verhaeghe's spot on this top line tonight, but Verhaeghe did skate this morning before the Panthers left, so he's okay.
Yeah, Joe Thornton was out there as well, taking a few shifts in the morning skates. So.
Randy, that's going to be interesting to see Joe Thornton playing for the Panthers this year.
Well, the experience, you know, I mean, 1,100 assists, and you know, the Panthers, that's one thing they were looking at for, you know, obviously the leadership and the experience and the success that Joe Thornton has displayed over his incredible career. But, you know, you take a look, he can play on the second power play, he can play on the first unit on the power play, he can still pass that puck.
See the Panther power play when we come back, Killorn to the penalty box.
Killorn, first bolt to the box this evening in the Amway Center with the voice of the Lightning, Dave Randorf, Paul Kennedy. These two teams a year ago, Dave, played 14 times, including the postseason. Every game was physical.
You know, the guys in the booth have been talking about this first-round series, and here's a video reminder of what it was all about. This took the Battle of Florida, the long-time rivalry, to a different level, and that's why we are all looking forward to these 4 regular season meetings, because they've now met in the playoffs. They've cranked up the intensity. They are now 2 good teams at the same time, and it sets the stage for what should be a fun regular season series. Goldie?
Dave, thanks very much. Look forward to it. Game 1, 2 weeks from tonight at Abilene. Can't wait for that one. So Panthers on the power play, and boy, they've been watching them in training camp, and this thing is something to see, this 5-man unit. They're snapping that puck around. Ekblad is the D. Barkov, Huberdeau, Bennett, and Reinhart.
There are some serious power plays around the league, and Florida certainly has one of them. Lightning are not too shabby in that department either. So 4 great games, and both these teams tend to take penalties too.
Now Vasilevsky makes a good save there on Reinhart. Let's get to our Papa John's keys tonight, Randy.
Well, the keys for me for the Panthers this season is going to be special teams. Last year, the Panthers were just 15th on that power play. Hornquist led them with 8 power play goals. And number 2 is that third and fourth line offense. We just saw Frank Petrano just score the opening goal here. He was really the only consistent third or fourth liner. He had 18 goals last year. And then on the shootout, the Panthers were rated 24th last year, and they left just too many available points, guys, in that shootout. Barkov and Huberdeau, if they improve in the shootout, that will help.
Well, the division's going to be a beast. You've got these 2 teams. You've got Toronto. You've got Boston. By the way, Montreal made the Stanley Cup final last year. And then you start going down, Detroit, Ottawa, maybe not a factor for a playoff spot, but they will be better. And in the division in the Eastern Conference, there's going to be a couple of teams that aren't going to make the playoffs. They're going to be very good teams this year.
There are so many teams. There's so many young players in the league again. It's really hard to measure teams like Detroit. A big save there by Bassett.
Beauty on Bennett. Bennett trying to stuff it home. But Andrei Vasilevsky, shades of the playoffs for number 88 in blue.
Well, there's a perfect example of the display of the size and the athleticism. Look at him. He just makes that glove save. Yeah, he coughs up the rebound, but look at how he just covers the bottom of the net. Bennett tries to jam it in on the side, but there's that leg length. You're covering from post to post. Here's a different angle of it. Brian right there with the Panthers just buzzing around. Bennett, Reinhart, everybody had an opportunity.
Best legs in the league. He can cover both posts at the same time. It's because of the incredible stretching that he does all the time. Full-on splits. He has no problem doing it at any given time, and he always has his glove up. Very well disciplined. Doesn't give you much to shoot at anywhere, and that was especially when you're in tight.
Brandon Montour not in the Panther lineup tonight, so Mackenzie Weegar running the second power play unit. Leclaire, Vetrano tip it out there with Losterena, who's been running as the third-line center with both Anton Lundell, the very promising rookie, and Joe Thornton a bit banged up, but they're both back at practice now. Panthers have great depth up front this year. Strong work there by the Lightning on the penalty kill.
One of the things the Panthers have been working on here and throughout the preseason, and especially on defense, we just saw that with Mackenzie Weegar. They want to make sure that their top guy, the point guy, is in the middle of the ice. Try and get to the middle of the ice, and when that shot comes through, then you can have the pressure with the wingers coming in and see if they can get the tips and the rebounds. But I've already seen that where the Panthers are making a concerted effort to get that defenseman in the middle of the ice who's got more options with the puck.
Great goaltending by Vasilevsky. Keeps it a 1-0 game. Frank Petrano, the only goal. Nice move by Achari on Big Schuster. Back with the Lightning this year. Now Lomberg spinning. Freddie Playson watches him. Budis and Matt Kierstead, defenseman for the Panthers. Radko led the league in hits last year. One-time member of the Lightning, now with the Panthers. You don't have to ask him twice when it gets physical. Still a battle, Brian, going on at the bottom of that Tampa Bay blue line right now?
Yeah, I don't know who's going to be the sixth defenseman. It's going to be an interesting battle there. David Savard, of course, moved on, signed with the Montreal Canadiens, so he was the sixth D, and I'm not sure exactly who's going to take that spot. It'll be interesting. Cal Foote will be in the running, but unfortunately for him, he had surgery on his pinky shortly before training camp, and he's still out, so he's not going to be able to do any contact drills or anything. I think he's still another week or two away before he can even start that. So unfortunate for him, he has to start behind the 8-ball because it's a big year for Cal Foote.
Mentioned both teams open the season next week against Pittsburgh. The Penguins without, of course, Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin to start the season when they come to Tampa and South Florida next week. Chance here, and Knight the save on point. 5:16 to go here in the first period. Preseason hockey from Orlando. Florida's got the lead in the first.
Tonight, let's out.
Steve Goldstein, Brian Engblom, Randy Moeller in the broadcast booth. Our 4 keys to the season for the Lightning. Okay, how do they replace Coleman, Gord, and Goodrow?
Yeah, the bottom 6 is going to look a lot different from last year. There's no doubt, because you also throw in Tyler Johnson, who was a 4th-line center and a guy that was on the 2nd power play for John Cooper, 1 champion, 2 cups, and an American League championship. A very versatile guy. So who's going to be there? The 6th D-man, I mentioned that a moment ago. You got Freddie Claesson and Zach Bogosian in the lineup tonight. Those are just 2 guys on the list. And, of course, Corey Perry, where is he going to fit in? He's going to be bottom 6, I think, somewhere. I think a 3rd-line guy. And the penalty-killing combos. Gord, Goodrow, and Coleman, all 3 killed penalties. And it was Coleman and Goodrow who started the penalty kill 95% of the time. And were they ever good at it? And then Yanni Gord had been in the next pair. So that's going to be a big miss there. Who's going to fill in up front on the penalty kill?
And you mentioned about Corey Perry, Brian. I'm interested that the expectations of him from this team, he's had so much success, and like you and I mean, he's got to be in consideration for a Hall of Fame induction. Where do they fit him in?
I'm really intrigued to see what happens with Corey Perry, because there he is right there. That's where he makes his money, from the tops of the circles in. He drags people into the fray because he's a pain to play against. He's always slashing somebody or somebody's slashing him. He'll hit 400 goals this year if he can stay healthy. He only needs 14. That should be easy. He makes his living around the net. There was a really interesting line combination in camp the other day. He had Ross Colton, who is going to be a 3rd-line center this year. In the middle was Steven Stamkos on one side and Corey Perry on the other. And I thought, now that is really interesting. Stamkos and Perry together on the same line. I wouldn't call that a checking line. Technically, it would be the 3rd line. Would it be totally different than the Gord line? Of course. And would they have to be a matchup line? Not necessarily. So I think the Lightning's outlook is going to be just different as they go along. Maybe Cirelli becomes the checking line. Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, 4th-line center. I'm pretty sure he's going to be there. He'll probably be on the checking side. And here's Corey Perry, where he earns his living. His timing is so good. He's got great hands. Look at the nose for the puck. He's always calm. He's got a lot of elements, and he got phone calls from just about everybody on the team, and they were all laughing, saying, we are so glad not to have to play you in the finals, because he's a pain. He and Andrei Vasilevsky got into it both years in the Cup Finals, when he played for Dallas 2 years ago and for Montreal last year, because he lives around the paint.
He had enough. He said, if you can't beat him, join him. That's so right. He signs with the Lightning.
That really says something about some of these veteran players that continue to produce. You know, the Panthers with Hornquist still have the passion for the game.
That's the thing. It doesn't matter that they've slowed down. Corey Perry never relied on breakneck speed anyway, you know, so it doesn't matter. For guys who were fast and it drops off, maybe because of injuries, that hurts a little more. Corey Perry will find a way. I find it really intriguing this year for Lightning.
Well, if the rivalry wasn't intriguing enough after the playoff meeting and the 14 matchups last year, you add Corey Perry on one side and Joe Thornton on the other. So that will certainly be interesting. And, you know, for years they battled. Joe Thornton on the Sharks and Corey Perry on the Ducks.
That's right. Can't get rid of each other.
That's it. Coleman, by the way, left to go to Calgary. Yanni Gord now with Seattle, the new team, the Kraken. Goodrow to the Rangers. Here's Spencer Knight with the save on Palat, and he'll hold on. So the Panthers open the season next Thursday, October 14th against the Penguins. Then on Saturday, they'll take on the New York Islanders. Visit FloridaPanthers.com. Tickets are on sale now.
Randy, I don't think it's much different for the Panthers in some ways, right? Your bottom 6 guys, it'll be interesting combinations there as well.
Well, there's just so many candidates and the players that performed well last year, and then with the additions of, as you mentioned, Joe Thornton and Sam Reinhart, it just takes up positions, and it's quite a battle. These last 2 exhibition games, preseason games, including and plus tonight, it's going to make the difference for somebody who's going to have a roster spot for opening night.
Good play by Chernak there, laying down. Barkov really wanted to make that pass.
Chernak with the blast on the other end, and Spencer Knight swallows that up. How about the progression of this guy? Everybody talks about the stars on this Tampa team as well. They should, Brian, but Chernak has been a huge factor in the back-to-back cups.
He's always the other guy. We talk about the big 3 that they have on the left side. but he's that fourth guy, and you got to have a top four. Chernak has been absolutely marvelous. He came from L.A. in the Ben Bishop deal a couple of years ago. His nickname by the boys is Drago from the Rocky movies, because he has that look about, I'm going to rip your head off. I love that. And he's the most mild-mannered, well-mannered guy off the ice, which, we see that so often over the years. And he's like granite out there.
There's that Bennett line on the ice for the Panthers now, along with Huberdeau and Owen Tippett. Huberdeau has just elevated his game incredibly, starting his 10th season with the Panthers now. He was just so distraught after that playoff loss to the Lightning. You saw how badly he wanted it.
You know who I was really impressed with, and I know you guys got to see him every day, was Sam Bennett. Man, I mean, did he ever fill a gigantic hole when he came in and never looked back?
Well, and then, it just was a breath of fresh air for Bennett and for the Florida Panthers, solidifying that second center. And he came in and established a franchise record with the 15 points in the 10 games, the first 10 games. And, playing on both sides. He's so strong with and without the puck, and he's a lot like Barkov, where he's always positioned himself on the right side of the puck. He's never in a bad position when he's helping out defensively in his own zone, and I know he's enjoying the move down here to South Florida. You talk to him, he's so excited about the season and the potential of his team.
He slotted in exactly the right place. He was always the overlooked guy in Calgary. They're always talking about somebody else. I always liked him. Every time we saw Calgary, I thought, and as soon as I saw the trade, I went, they did well. Florida did really well getting him. I had no idea he'd be that good.
A restricted free agent. Now he's re-signed long-term with the Panthers, and really great foresight by Panthers management, general manager Bill Zito and Joel Quenneville. Game one, here's Jonathan Huberdeau on your left. They used Duclair and Tippett over on the right, and Sam Bennett just hit the ground running. Saw those numbers. He had 12 points in 38 games in Calgary, 15 and 10 with Florida.
Well, and I think both these teams, the Panthers and the Lightning, have done a marvelous job over the last couple of years of putting these players that they acquire in a position to succeed, to excel and succeed. And you mentioned about Bennett and putting him immediately with Jonathan Huberdeau. Same thing with Verhaeghe last year when they put him with Barkov for a lot of the season as well. Put him in a position.
Pat Maroon in his office buzzing around that. How many cups in a row is he trying to? Is it like 8? How many has he won now? Unbelievable.
Ask him, he'll tell you.
Maroon has won 3 in a row. Won it with St. Louis in 19. And then came to Tampa and won 2 more.
Pat Maroon has added so much flavor to the team. It's the best word I can think of. Yeah, it's what he does on the ice. And when somebody's pushing Brayton Point around or something, that was a big part. He's the first one to start in on him, voice-wise, right? Getting the guy's ear. But also, he'll drop the glove. I mean, he's fought Chara about 4 times in his career. I mean, that's just crazy to do it even once. But that'll show you Maroon will do anything he has to do. But boy, he is just awesome. He's talking all the time.
Well, we saw Vasilevsky. He was a star in the first half of this first period. And then Spencer Knight has come back and turned aside all 13 shots that he has faced.
Honda Intermission Report coming up. Brought to us by local Honda dealers. Katie Gauze will chat with the goal scorer, Frank Petrano. Aaron Ekblad returns for the Panthers. The fellas will discuss that. Hockey has returned, and the state of Florida's in focus this season. 2 of the best in the league, John Cooper's Lightning, Joel Quenneville's Panthers. After 1, it's the Cats up 1-0. Toronto, the only goal in the first. Spencer Knight, Andre Vasilevsky, both solid in net. The Panthers lead the Lightning 1-0. Steve Goldstein, Brian Engblom, along with Randy Moeller here in the broadcast booth. Let's take a look at what's ahead for the Lightning. The road ahead brought to us by BMW. 69 regular season games on Bally Sports Sun, also streaming on the Bally Sports app, and the coverage will begin next Thursday night, Brian, against the Red Wings.
Yeah, we go on the road. The first game at home will be on national TV on ESPN. That's against Pittsburgh. We'll have the banner raising, and then we start off on Thursday. We go to Detroit, Washington for the first little road trip, and it'll be nice to be back on the road again, too. Though I'm looking forward to that. Inside the Lightning returns. All the good stuff we've had in the past continues this year. But I'm telling you, I'm really glad to be going to games again and not doing it off a monitor.
Here, here. Well said. Andre Vasilevsky was terrific in that first period, stopping 11 of the 12 shots. Panthers had a chance to add to that 1-0 lead, if not for some very good saves.
Brian, you're talking about Andre Vasilevsky. How much input does he have on the workload that can be expected for him from the team this season?
He has a lot, but basically he says, I want to play. I want to play. I want to play.
Most players, most goaltenders.
So Franz Jean is the goaltending coach, and of course Coot, but Franz is the one that gets together with the head coach, and they go, no, Vassy, no, you're not going on the ice for morning skate. They have told him over the last 2 years, nope, you're not going out. Otherwise, he'd have been out there all the time. So that's something he's had to learn, how to judge his time on the ice, practice time. He has played 75% of all the games, regular season and playoffs, over the last 2 years, and he's played every single playoff game for 2 years. That's a lot of hockey.
On the other side, Spencer Knight stopping all 13 shots in the first period. Remember, earlier in the preseason, Knight had 29 saves on 30 shots in a 3-1 win over Nashville. So the 20-year-old, so far through 4 periods in preseason, looking great. He and Sergei Bobrovsky scheduled to divvy up the 3 games, likely Bobrovsky playing 2 of them. Duclair has a step on Chernak. Duclair has to track it down, though, and rolled on him just a little bit. Barré-Boulet back there for the Lightning, resting a number of their stars tonight, including Kucherov and Stamkos and Hedman. We should add Ryan McDonough. He always gets forgotten about as a, quote, star. But Ryan McDonough's rock solid. Steal by point. The penalty coming up in the Panthers as well. Weegar will go.
Yeah, it looks like Mackenzie Weegar, a little reach in. He got beat off the sideboards. A little conversation with the officials going to the penalty box. So we'll see the Lightning's first power play of the game.
That was Brayden Point with the quick feet, and boy, does he ever have quick feet. When he starts to step on the gas here, he pulls away from you pretty quick, and Weegar does not want to let number 21 into the scoring area on a little mini 2-on-1. Ekblad was the only guy in front of the net. That was the hooking call.
Mackenzie Weegar, what a breakout year, really 2 years, but especially last year. He led the NHL in even strength points amongst defensemen, and somehow he was better once Aaron Ekblad left the lineup. Joel Quenneville really seeing both Weegar and Ekblad in his 2 years so far as Panther coach just take
I was really impressed by Weegar for one thing. I never expected him. When he was playing with Ekblad in the times prior that we saw him, I went, okay, yeah, he's good. But you're always looking at Ekblad. When Ekblad went down, I thought Mackenzie Weegar was fantastic. I had no idea that his ceiling was that high, to be honest with you.
Great story. 7th round pick, 6th to the final pick in the draft. In the AHL, he was an AHL All-Star. And now starring in the NHL. Chernak here up at the point running this power play for the Lightning. Ryfor is one of those players trying to make his way on the roster somehow. Barré-Boulet fan on the shot attempt. And he's able to feed Killorn, but Gudas steps in.
Yeah, there you see the vintage Radko Gudas getting in front to make sure he's in good position and between the opposition and his own net to block the shots and intercept those passes.
It's a great mix of fans here, great crowd here at Amway Center in Orlando for this preseason game. A lot of Panther jerseys, a lot of Lightning jerseys. I spotted an intermission, a Gudas Tampa Bay jersey.
Oh, yeah.
Now that's got to be pretty rare.
Yeah, from a few years ago. That's right. What an imposing figure that guy is on the ice. He just has that look about him. Gudas does that. So not here. Go anywhere else, but not here.
Your nickname's the Butcher. That kind of says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The battle down low there. Ekblad going at it with Palat. Corey Perry with the puck. Huberdeau covering the slot.
You know what? That was typical Corey Perry there. He was covered up on the point. Nobody came to him, so he just walked it down. He wasn't trying to move it around or make a lot of passes. He saw a chance to walk down 15, 20 feet and just get the puck to the front of the net. He doesn't mess around. It's one of the things you love about him. He's a shooter.
Yeah, he was looking for a deflection right in front, whether it went off of one of the Lightning or one of the Panthers. That's how smart he is. Recognizing that his options are limited, just as you said, just place it anywhere in front of that net.
Frank Petrano, the goal in the first period, even strength, 5.5 in. Mason Marchment, Aaron Ekblad on the assists. Barkov now out there with Reinhart and Duclair. What a year for Barkov last year, best of his career. Finished 6th in the MVP voting. And was just great all around. Point shot here, redirected wide by Duclair. Amazing. Barkov now 26 years old.
The grizzled veteran.
Just getting into his prime right now. Great years. Experience and talent together.
Well, Goldie talked about it a couple of days ago, and he and I were having a conversation about the Panthers' core. Goldie, about all 23, 24, 25, 26 years old.
Yeah, they really did a great job putting this team together. And you talk about a bunch of guys, in their prime, and now, in the offseason, signing them to trade for Reinhart without touching the roster, and then signing him to a 3-year deal, extending Bennett, extending Duclair, extending Verhaeghe, and Forsling and Montour. I should have had those two. Forsling not in the lineup, a little bit banged up, but he's okay. Another guy that was picked up on waivers last year and wound up being a legit top 4 guy for Joel Quinn.
Yeah, Bill Zito's done a heck of a job. He's had great foresight and done a good job.
Oh, boy. Bennett bumped Vasilevsky. And if you like last year's playoff series, here we go again, preseason style, tonight in Orlando.
Oh, and guess who? Corey Perry's got the mitts dropped.
With Owen Tippett, the young Panther forward, going at it with a veteran Perry. And I think this is a first for Owen Tippett as an NHL player. And down they go.
I don't know how many scraps we've seen even in regular season games over the last 3 or 4 years. Never mind the playoffs. But it just built up into something else in the playoffs.
Well, we were anticipating this.
Yeah.
High emotions, and you said
anytime a goalie gets touched.
Absolutely. And we're going to see here, and that's the right response by the Lightning. That anybody touches their goaltender, and then everybody jumped in. Here it is here. Puck behind the net. Vasilevsky kind of hesitates, and oh yeah, Bennett came in.
Oh yeah,
there's no doubt there.
Absolutely did. And Andre Schuster, who played for the Lightning for a few years and then went and played in the KHL the last couple of years. He played in Kunlun in Beijing. He's the first one that arrives, number 29. But yeah, that was because Bennett, there's no doubt, not only was he not trying to avoid Vasilevsky, he was giving him little bumps. So maybe he wants to stir things up, stir the pot a little bit. He definitely did.
Well, the original call is on Bennett, and then Tippett and Perry go. Perry jumped in there, and then Tippett did the same. So Tampa will get a power play out of this. This is the first of 7 meetings, at least, between these two teams this year. 3 in the preseason and 4 in the regular season after they played 14 times last year.
Yeah, they saw a lot of each other. The core group of both these teams, that's why there is so much emotion. 14 times last year. Two coaches, too, that really respect each other and have a really good feel for each other. I remember Q saying during the playoffs, I have a pretty good idea of how John Cooper likes to run his lines. They observe and they catalog things in their mind, and Cooper does the same thing with Quenneville. And, of course, they coached against each other Stanley Cup Finals when Quenneville was in Chicago in 2015.
Looking at 5 each for fighting on Tippett and Perry. Lostereen, and going to the bench there, you see for the Panthers, bottom of your screen, caught something in the face. And the 2-minute penalty on Bennett. And that's why the Lightning have the power play. We're going to get another call here.
Yeah, Juho Lammikko is going to go to the penalty box and with a hooking call as well. So now the Panthers, they got themselves in a bit of a pickle. They're going to be down by 2 men.
I think every team in the league now, Randy, remember back in the day, there'd be coaches who would say, well, we're not going to practice the power play. It just messes things up. We're just going to have the big boys go out there and do something. We'll see how it works out.
There was the Lomberg's stick goes right underneath of the face mask. Oysterinen, and then the penalty, the reach-in, Lammikko.
So Panther penalty box now full. It's a 5-on-3 advantage. Losterinen, by the way, getting attention on the Panther bench, but good news, he stayed on the bench. Tampa 2 men up, trying to solve Spencer Knight. A little more than 5 minutes into this second period. Gary Boulay centering feed. Sergachev out in front. Point couldn't stuff it in. Sergachev will reset it. Sergachev fires, stopped at the net. Rebound is loose. Palat trying to find it. Achari lost his stick. It's broken. Here's Killorn. Stopped again by Knight. Killorn again. Palat fires. That's blocked by Kierstead. Now the action is picked up here in the second. Achari still without that stick now on the 5-on-3 advantage for the Lightning. And Spencer Knight looking to cover. Can't get the whistle yet, and finally they blow it with Knight down on his stomach. And Achari was a little bit shaken up on that play for the Panthers.
Yeah, Sergachev with a slap shot, and Achari without the stick, and he stuck out his hand, and he took the brunt of that slap shot right off. Watch his hand here. Sticks out his left hand. Bang, right off the glove, and that hurts. On the inside, there's no padding.
Yeah, it's not something you want to see. I mean, it's a great reaction. Achari's that kind of guy, the penalty killer, the shot blocker, and he'll do that. You don't want to see somebody with a broken hand in the preseason games. Lightning should have taken more time there. Achari without a stick. Sergachev should have been able to hold on to that and work against him and get maybe even a better one-timer. I really think around the league that players do not take advantage, especially on the power play, when a player on the opposition has broken a stick and is without one, especially in a 5-on-3 like that. You have to move that puck there immediately and take advantage of that guy. He can't do very much except what Achari did, and Sergachev just took the one-timer there on the pass from down low.
Gary Boulay hit the post. Here's Point again, looking for him with that pass cross ice, blocked by Aaron Ekblad. Achari got quite the welcome back to the bench as well from the Panthers after the block. Time winding down the 2-man advantage. It's done. Bennett joining the play, and now Bennett may have a step ahead shorthanded, but the pass goes through him. 5-on-4 for 10 more seconds, running on the Lamico penalty. Good to see Achari right back out there on the ice for the Panthers. What a heart and soul guy Noel Achari is, starting his 3rd year with Florida. Made that Stanley Cup final, went all the way to Game 7 against Maroon and the Blues in 2019 with Boston. What a series that was. The Blues lost Game 6 at home with a chance to clinch, and then won the Cup in Boston in Game 7. So Knight and the Panther penalty kill does the job to maintain the 1-0 lead.
And the Lightning just ring one off the post.
Oh, Bogosian and Achari got into it, and they're going to make a call. It will be on Bogosian, the veteran defenseman. Second period in Orlando, the Lightning came close. It's still 1-0.
The Panthers lead 1-0. Well, we all know the saying, if you can't beat them, join them. And that seems to be the mindset of one of the newest Bolts, Corey Perry, who joins the Lightning after losing to them in the Stanley Cup Finals with Montreal. Perry was also on the Dallas Stars team that lost to Tampa in the 2020 Cup Final. But it appears Perry had more than just that as motivation to join the back-to-back champs. He's also close friends with Pat Maroon, who was instrumental in getting him down to Tampa. The two played together in Anaheim for the better part of 5 seasons when Maroon was just entering the league, and it appears they still have some chemistry. So far this preseason, they've combined for 4 points. Could very likely see the two of them playing together on the 4th line. Guys?
All right, thanks very much, Katie. While we were away, it was Maroon and Lomberg reacquainting with each other, and they were
I would love to
yapping
have
away.
heard that conversation.
Oh, me too. Panthers get the power play. Trying to add to the lead. Aaron Ekblad running the show. Ekblad fumbled it for a moment. And now taken away by Matthew Joseph. Barkov hustling back. Tampa Bay to get 4 total shots on the power play. Here's the 5-on-3.
You had Belmar out there to take the face-off, and I expect we'll see a lot of that for the Lightning. He is very good in the face-off circle. And killing penalties, I expect that'll happen. He was just out there with Matthew Joseph, who I think will get a chance, a big chance to pick up one of those penalty-killing jobs I talked about, lost from last year's team.
Belmar, one of those heart and soul guys. Knight lost the puck there after making the save, but Huberdeau with a good check on Killorn. Belmar from southern France, one of only 16 NHLers ever born in France. Trying to find Barkov on the redirection, but Reinhardt's pass went off Barkov's tape.
I know I'm one that's really looking forward to these last number of games and see the chemistry developing between Barkov and Sam Bennett and what they can discover, especially on the power play.
Toronto fires, save, and the cover with Marchment right there, and he takes a couple of shots, and he goes after Sergachev. And here we go again.
And you know, this is some bad blood from the playoffs, too.
Oh, yeah.
Marchment played really hard for Florida in the playoffs. Another guy that was very impressive and stood up and really got in people's faces. And Sergachev doesn't back down from anybody.
Yeah, Lightning taking an exception to Marchment reaching in after Vasilevsky. It pretty well gobbled up that shot from the left side from Vetrano.
Marchment came over in what was really more of a minor league trade with Toronto a couple of years ago. Panthers sent Dennis Mulligan to the Maple Leafs. And Marchment last year catching the eye of Joel Quenneville at a good training camp. Big, strong player. And was up on that top line with Barkov at times last year. Huberdeau lost that puck at center. There's Belmar, the veteran. Went to the Cup Final in Vegas in 2018. It's a big part of that team and that 4th line success. Marchment and Chernak. Body on body. Huberdeau's got a look. Goes for the pass. Vetrano, though, whipped on the shot attempt. So Bogosian's back. We're finally 5-on-5. See if we stay that way a little bit.
Don't count on it.
Andre Palat speeds over the Panther line. Point got bumped, but emerges with the puck. He's so slick with it, Braden Point. And here's Point shooting, kick save, Spencer Knight. So calm and cool in that net, the 20-year-old. Not a lot of movement.
That's the kind of goalies I love. The conservation of motion, stay in the paint, don't look spectacular. It's nice to see a goaltender make a spectacular save once in a while. But if goalies are making spectacular saves all the time, something's wrong. It means they're not in the right spot to begin with.
Halfway through the game, he stopped all 19 Tampa Bay shots so far. Panthers at 4-0 so far in the preseason. A couple of wins over Nashville and 2 over Dallas. Lightning right now, 1-3. Both teams still have, well, maybe a couple of spots, roster spots still that are up for grabs. We'll have to sort that out later this week. The 2 preseason games ahead against one another.
Well, this is the first year that I can remember, talking about the Panthers specifically, they just a limited amount of not only roster spots but lineup spots, and that bodes well for the depth of their hockey club. And it's very competitive these last number of games, trying to impress the management, coaching staff.
Florida went up in people's minds. The fans are sort of behind the curve sometimes, right? Unless they're not, say up in Canada or on the West Coast. It takes a while for a team to develop a reputation, right? The Florida Panthers went ahead by leaps and bounds last year, and well, they should. They are a heck of a hockey team, and people know it now.
The first 100 fans to spend $25 or more at the Tampa Bay Sports.com site this evening will receive a free Orlando Solar Bears puck with a purchase. Limit 1 per customer while the supplies last. Dave and Paul here at the anchor desk. Congratulations to John Cooper, as you know, named head coach of the Canadian Olympic team, bound for Beijing. As he's with assistant Jeff Halpern there, as he scans the ice, there are 9 nations represented between these 2 premier teams in the NHL, loaded with potential Olympians.
And when your team is the 2-time Stanley Cup champs, there's going to be a number of candidates. We put together 9 names here. I got to think 7 are absolute locks. Victor Hedman has already been confirmed. He will be going to his first Olympics representing Sweden. Vasilevsky is going to be the #1 goalie. Kuch is going. I would just say Ryan McDonough is a strong candidate, but they do have some depth along the U.S. blue line. That might be a maybe. And Steven Stamkos, who was supposed to go in 2014 before he got hurt, he is motivated to impress his head coach to be there for Canada. As for Florida, same thing. A lot of key guys are on the short list. Barkov went to the Olympics in 2014 as a 19-year-old. He is likely now going to return as their captain this year in Finland. All kinds of names. It's going to be a storyline we'll watch all season long, Goldie.
Yeah, that'll be a story all around the league, Dave, for sure. Here's Huberdeau breaking in, the spin, the pass, and okay, play broken up by Radish. Good job on the back check. Huberdeau's so dangerous in those situations.
I was just going to say, Goldie, that spin move, that stop up, when he realizes, okay, I don't have the inside pass, because he can stop under control so well and then spin to the inside, and he's instantly in a scoring spot. And players just don't expect it.
Shots in the second period are 7-2 in favor of the Lightning. Only goal came 5:32 into the game from Frank Petrano of the Panthers. He's got 4 already in the preseason.
Maroon was having words with Bennett. Looked like he wanted to give him a little cuff up the side of the head. And Bennett just skated to the bench.
Bennett, the bump on Vasilevsky, which started A little bit of the trouble in this second period. Steal by Losterinen on the back check with a help from Chase Prisky. Navarro, one of the depth defensemen for the Panthers. Now Freddie Clayson for the Lightning sends it out to center ice. Here's Prisky and some offensive ability to his game.
And you notice that Tampa Bay Lightning have tightened up a little bit on their defensive coverage. They're really clogging up the middle of the ice, and the Panthers a little frustrated trying to find an open man that's anywhere near the net.
Well, I'm sure the coaching staff is on them, Randy, because I mean, they've given up a lot of goals in the preseason here. Yeah, they're trying a lot of new faces, but no team likes to lose. Coaches don't like to lose, and so they're getting their attention now.
Well, Killorn trying to hit the trailer.
Alex Killorn in the finals blocked that shot and fractured his tib fib. Had to have a rod put in his leg and was fully prepared to play Game 7 against Montreal if it was going to go that far. He went into the warm-up in Game 6.
Perry all the way in. Knight made the save. Yeah, quite a run by the Lightning. Of course, another battle with the Islanders for the second consecutive year. Those low-scoring games against the Islanders, they are tough.
Well, the margin for error in every series for the Lightning, they'll tell you, was extremely slim. We talked about the Florida series. Big hit there on the wall by Bogosian.
Jan Reinhart.
You got to be lucky. As I said earlier, I mean, you have to have your key players have to stay healthy, or you're just not going to win. The margin for error is so slim.
Sam Reinhart, the new Panther, came over from Buffalo in a trade. Gudas with a wrister, and Vasilevsky will hold on to that. We get late on in the second period. We're still in a 1-0 game in Orlando. That guy, Andre Vasilevsky for Tampa Bay, our Ackerman Jewelers Diamond Performance. Just call him the closer.
Incredible. I've never seen anything like it. The clinching game in all 4 rounds was a shutout. 98 shots, 98 saves. I mean, you could go back, Patrick Roy, Marty Brodeur, heck, you go back to Glenn Hall. They'd all be like, okay, kid, that's okay. Unreal.
And not easy games at all, trying to close out season series. And I remember that Game 6, the Panthers and the Lightning, and that was the only thing that was missing for the Panthers in that Game 6. They just could not beat Vasilevsky.
Shutouts 4 times in the playoffs, right through to the finals. Just extraordinary. He got in players' heads, that's for sure. That's what great goaltending will do for you. You'll see guys come in with great scoring chance and miss high wide, you know, because they're trying to find a way around it.
Point darts in to the Panther zone. Sergachev, the trailer, saved by Spencer Knight up high.
Good save. That was a rocket.
Knight went 4-0 in the regular season last year when he came to the Panthers after finishing his career at Boston College. And then got into the series against the Lightning with the Panthers down 3-1 and won Game 5 before the Lightning beat him in Game 6.
Florida trying that stretch pass again, right? Lightning have not been good in the preseason about that. They really had to have their wits about them in the playoffs, man. It was so fun for us to watch. The fast break that Florida could throw at the Lightning, and then the Lightning right back at them. If it didn't score at one end, you had scoring chances at both. But the Lightning got to pay attention to the great forwards of Florida and vice versa. Guys get in behind you, you're not going to catch them.
Anthony Duclair, the key factor there with the speed. Good shift here by the big rig. Pat Maroon in the offensive zone. He'll chase it down in the corner.
The rig slimmed down a little bit. I haven't heard the final numbers, but he's got to be down 15 pounds anyway. He said he worked out in the gym a lot more this summer than he had in the last 2 years.
Lightning score. Belmar able to put it home after a strong shift by that line. And it's a 1-1 game.
Yeah, the Panthers are just pinned in their own zone here on this last shift. And after a couple of tries, a huge, juicy rebound that went sailing over Spencer Knight. Here you see the Panthers just cannot track that puck down. And once it comes popping right back out, here it is. Knight was down and went right over top of him. He thought he had an opportunity right there to maybe freeze the puck again, and then right underneath the crossbar.
This is one of the big differences in the game these days, though. And the Lightning were guilty on the Vetrano goal. The players come back to a spot in the neutral, in their own end. But nobody in a white jersey there looked over their shoulder. Belmar was in behind everybody, and he got a free shot, and he made him pay. Vetrano scored the same way in the first period.
Give Maroon a lot of credit on that shift. He got it started and kept it deep in the Panther zone. He'll get an assist, Maroon. Lewis fires, blocked down in front. Ooh, that one hit Corey Perry. And he's trying to shake it off. Meanwhile, Losterinen for the Panthers put it towards the net. Vasilevsky got the edge of the goalie stick on the puck.
Yeah, Perry's really shaken up. Now he gets a chance to go to the box. He got that full on off. He got that in the arm or in the upper body.
Schuster shoots in for Tampa as we close in on 2 minutes to go in the second period. Toronto in the first, Belmar from Maroon in the second for the Lightning. PK and Dave coming up at the intermission. We'll hear from Katie as well on our all-Florida preseason broadcast. Panthers and the Lightning. Should be one heck of a hockey season for the two Florida teams. Lomberg breaks in. Now went wide. There's the board battles here going on, regular season style. They're after it. Barkov away with it. Reinhart for Barkov, but it just jumped under his stick. Now Uyghur breaks in. Blue jerseys are back. Reinhardt's backhand stolen by Schuster.
Yeah, there's another example how Tampa really tightened up down in that low slot area and just denying those centering passes.
Barkov puts it in front there. Losterinen just couldn't handle that, or should I say Duclair actually made that pass. Now it'll be icing, and with that, let's get a message from our good friends at FPL.
Get control over your energy use and your bill with the new FPL Energy Manager. Find savings to sing about at fpl.com/takecontrol.
Randy, if Reinhardt plays with Barkov all season long, what do you think the goal totals can be there?
40 to 45.
30 to 40. Okay. I was going to say 30 to 40, but he's going to get chances, there's no doubt.
Did score 25 last year for Buffalo, and obviously wasn't a full season.
Yeah, that tied a career high for Reinhart. And that would, the thing with Barkov, too, is he led the team with 176 shots. So what that tells you is when Barkov and his line, whoever plays with him, and we anticipate that Reinhart will be on the right side, that they're going to have the puck a lot of times in the offensive zone. And creativity of Barkov and how he can protect that puck. There's no reason why Reinhart should get, I would think, 40 goals if he add in those power play goals.
Look what he did for Verhaeghe, because Barkov is so good at hanging on to the puck, right? He just hangs on in a crowd, skates to open ice, and just buys time and attracts so much attention that if you know how to get open, which Reinhart does, like Verhaeghe learned very quickly. Verhaeghe had a heck of a year, so it sets up pretty nicely for Reinhart. Those are big numbers. Boy, you can get 40 goals. That's a heck of a year.
Well, and the thing, going back to Reinhart last year in Buffalo, I mean, he bounced around and played with a number of centermen.
Right.
Played center himself when Eichel went out, and a lot of success. And that's been one of the great things that the Panthers have been able to do, Bill Zito and his staff, find players that fit in with the style of their line mates.
Right.
And then you have Joel Quenneville who's piecing it together, and you look at Verhaeghe with Barkov. Bennett comes in with Huberdeau. It worked to a T.
I think that the biggest thing with these two teams, and obviously was on display in the first round of the playoffs last year between the Lightning and the Panthers, is the competitiveness. These players, each and every one of them, they come to play and battle and pay the price. And we talked about compete levels.
And the Panthers had up theirs last year, and they certainly did. And here tonight, Belmar upset, Maroon upset, Lomberg yapping away, Ekblad and Belmar. Oh boy. It was a nasty second period, and I'm not sure what Belmar did late in the period, but Ekblad did not like it. Third period is coming up first. Local Honda Dealers Intermission Report. Katie will chat with Belmar, who scored the goal, and PK and Dave will take a look at those new faces on the Tampa Bay Lightning as they try for a third consecutive Stanley Cup. It got rough in the second period. Tampa got the only goal to tie it. We'll head to the third, even in Orlando. We are back in Orlando, Amway Center. Third period coming up. Lightning, Panthers tied at 1 apiece. Let's get a look before we start the third period of tonight's Baptist Health Virtual Vault. We go to Jumbo Joe, who will be starting his 24th season in the NHL, still chasing after that Stanley Cup. Had calls from many teams. He decided, I want to go to Florida. I think the Panthers can get me that cup.
Well, that just proves that the Florida Panthers are a destination now. And we couldn't say that a number of years ago. And there's one reason why Joe Thornton, the future Hall of Famer, wanted to come to South Florida and play for the Panthers. He thinks he can win. He wants to win a cup and feels this is his best opportunity. Look at the numbers. They just speak for themselves. Over 1,100 assists. Where I see, Brian, Joe Thornton helping the Florida Panthers in a number of different areas. Not only the experience in the locker room, but also, too, in the practice ice and the versatility. He said, Joe Thornton said a couple of days ago, he said, I don't care where I play. I can play center, I can play wing, up and down the lineup. I just want to be here and I want to help the team.
Another one of those guys that when you play that long, you just love to play the game. You have to love the game, and it's hard. It's hard to play that many years and get into condition well enough to still compete in the best league in the world. He can hang on to the puck in a crowd, and that'll never go away. So Joe Thornton has never played a speed game, and so being able to hang on to it and make plays while other players get open, he can dish as well as anybody in the game. So he has a presence about him that is going to be really important in the locker room for every young player and in every practice before they even get into a game situation.
That was a good game situation, particularly for the young players. You know, it's 1-1. Third period, things got heated. Things got physical in the third. Or in the second period. Now here we go to the third. Spencer Knight, Andre Vasilevsky in net. Of course, young players, some others on the roster bubbles. Both teams trying to make their way and show what they've got. You know, one of those guys we haven't touched on from the Lightning, Simon Ryfors, who was 25-goal scorer in the Swedish league last year. He's in this game for Tampa.
Yeah, number 15 for the Lightning. Really interesting. He did have 25 goals last year. That was tops in the Swedish league. 24 years old, so he's not, a young rookie because he has been playing. This one's offside. He has been playing in the Swedish league for the last couple of years, so he's been playing with men. And when you're the top scorer in the Swedish league, that's a pretty darn good league. Now, 5 other teams in the NHL were after Simon Ryfors. But what the Lightning did was they had Victor Hedman pay him a phone call.
Yeah, that'll help.
That kind of helped. Yeah, Swede to Swede. One of the best players in the world. Hi, it's Victor Hedman. Hi.
Well, it just proves as well. I mean, here we go.
Yeah, Gudas and Perry were talking to each other, and then the fight comes on.
Kachuk.
Yeah, Kachuk and Bennett. So I saw Perry and Gudas were yapping at each other. Now Gudas is going jaw to jaw with Ross Colton out there. But remember, that was Bennett that got the piece of Vasilevsky in the second.
Yep. Yep, there's...
Well, you can tell these players, they don't care that it's preseason. They really don't care. The animosity between these two teams, the competitiveness, and we're seeing it on display again here, and there's no surprise to that. And the good news for hockey fans in Florida is they got 2 more preseason games, Thursday and Saturday.
I know, it's great. And then, you know what? Every game that they play during the regular season, people around the NHL that are fans are going to continue, to watch. Now we...
look at this.
Corey Perry,
Bogosian jumps in there.
Corey Perry.
Yeah, Perry was looking for somebody. He was going at it with Gudas.
Was that Lomberg?
And Gudas
has got Ross Colton. That's a mismatch. Ross Colton's not a fighter.
Yeah, Perry was getting into it, and then Bogosian came jumping in.
Was that Lomberg?
I believe that's Lomberg at the bottom.
Yeah, Lomberg came at Corey Perry. Corey Perry whacked him with the stick, and then that's when that dog pile happened. That's right. Bogosian came in there right away.
And we got an injury.
Yeah, Panther is down there, and that's Achari that was underneath all that. Oh, boy.
But I think it started with Lomberg and Perry, so then Achari came in about the same time as Bogosian.
And now Perry's giving the Panthers bench on the other side an earful. The Panthers are jawing back at him as Achari is in what appears to be some serious discomfort down there. This thing has taken a turn in a preseason game.
Huberdeau standing at his side of the red line, too, talking to a couple of players on the Lightning as well. Yeah, Achari is in definite difficulty there.
Well, there was a hard, when the pile went down, it went down hard.
Yeah. They went charging at each other. A couple of guys went over backwards.
Oh, Achari needs some help there getting up.
Yeah.
Panthers trainer Tommy Alba and there's Marcus Nudavara there helping as well.
Holding that left arm.
All right, here's what happened here. Neutral zone. Now there's the pile. Now watch Achari. He drops the gloves and jumps on, and then you see Maroon come in.
Oh, there you go. Maroon spun him down. Hey, so Achari kind of yelling in pain immediately.
Yeah, fell hard on that left shoulder right there. Pulls him over and goes down on the shoulder. But look, Lamico is in there. Corey Perry. Yeah, and it was Lomberg and Corey Perry that started. All I saw, because there were a couple things going on at the beginning, we're just seeing the end of it. But Lomberg came into, face to face with Corey Perry. And I saw Perry whack him with the stick, and then Lomberg, the gloves came off, and then they just started the dog pile.
Yeah, man, as I said, Perry and Gudas were having words before, even before Bennett.
Colton.
And Gatchuk even got into it. So Corey Perry has firmly entrenched himself into this rivalry and his first game against the Panthers as a member of the Lightning. All this in the opening minute of the third period here in Orlando.
Let's go back and see if we can figure out exactly where. There it is, right in center ice. See, Corey Perry's got the stick out. Lomberg, whatever he was saying, he had to go through the stick. There's some old-time hockey there from Corey Perry. You want a piece of me? You're coming right through the stick. So he had the stick right out in the chest of Lomberg. Lomberg didn't like that. And so he goes at Perry, and then that gets everybody's attention. Here comes Achari.
Now he
and then here
seems to
comes
be in
Maroon.
pain before Maroon ever gets a piece. If you watch Achari close here, he's starting to grimace right there, and then Maroon came in.
Yeah, you're right. Good point by you. He's gripping that left hand.
Yeah.
And then Maroon pulls him over. But yeah, you're right. Something must have happened to that hand. And he was holding that left arm, shoulder in that fashion that says, yeah, that's the left side.
Yeah, it looked like Achari tried to grab on the back of the jersey with that left hand, and then
Well, we'll sort out the penalties. The box is full of players from both teams. Achari, unfortunately, had the only injury in all of this rough stuff over the last, 20 minutes and about 30 seconds of this game. We remain 5-on-5. And I guess even though it's preseason, I guess we can't be shocked. This is the first of 3 games this week to finish off the preseason between the two teams, but it has really gotten nasty. Chase Prisky carrying the man. The feed on the wing. Vasilevsky stops Petrano.
See, there's Ryfors out there for the Lightning again, number 15. We talked about him already. He had never played on the small ice surface until he came over for training camp. He came to the rookie camp. They gave him a choice and said, you don't have to come to the rookie camp if you don't want to. He said, no, I want to. I need the reps on the small ice. Now, what he'll have to get used to is a game like this. You don't see this kind of game in the Swedish Hockey League, I don't think, very often.
No, that's for sure. Anthony Duclair hanging on to this puck. Maroon broke it up. Barkov walks off the wall with it. But the play is offside. Panther fans, the all-new Premier Plan is on sale now. You can get tickets for the best games of the season, which include weekends, holidays, and all Premier opponents. To purchase, visit FloridaPanthers.com now. Regular season opens up next week.
a lot of people think that this gentleman right here is going to be the wild card for the Florida Panthers. Anthony Duclair, just oodles of talent, the speed coming in off the wing. And can he produce and get the big goals that the Panthers will expect from him?
Glad you're with us tonight on Valley Sports. Steve Goldstein, Brian Engblom, Randy Moeller here in the booth. Paul Kennedy, Dave Randolph, Katie Gauns. Bring it all to you as we combine broadcast teams for this Panthers Lightning game.
We're a lot more friendly up here than they are down there.
Well, still 17 and change to go. So, see how it shakes out. Tippett's got a breakaway. In on Vasilevsky, and he scores! Owen Tippett buries it, and the Panthers have a 2-1 lead in the third.
Well, Brian, there's a big collision at the blue line there. A little miscommunication, and a couple of Tampa Bay Lightning collided, and that allowed Tippett, and he had the step. You'll see here, big collision, and then back the other way. There's Tippett. Look at the good move right there. Just freezes Vasilevsky and right over the glove.
Yeah, that was a really nice pump fake there. When you use the leg like that, it looks like you really are going to release it. And Vassy looked like he bit on that one and then just moved to the outside and put it underneath his glove. Good move by Tippett. Yeah, that collision out by the blue line, the Lightning defense were going in the wrong direction. Braden Point way up the ice and had fallen down. The Lightning way out of position there. In that transition game that we talked about that was so deadly last year for Florida, Owen Tippett took advantage.
Owen Tippett's getting quite the look. You know, he's getting an opportunity and playing in that top 6 forward position on that right side, playing some power play time as well. And no doubt that he took a huge step forward last year. One of those players, even though a first-round pick, took a little while to find his game and realize what it takes. And you know, he talks about it. quite often about he needed to improve on his consistency shift by shift.
It's always the way. And if you don't do the right things at your end of the ice in the neutral zone, you don't get a chance to do stuff in the offensive zone. That's just the way it is. And he's, going through that process. Boy, that goal he scored, that'll give him a lot of confidence to start the season.
Yeah, we knew he could score. He had to get everything else, defensive part of the game, and he's a great example of, sometimes pushing a guy in too early or handing a guy a spot, doesn't help the player at all. And Owen Tippett has earned it. On the announcements you're hearing, they're finally announcing all of those penalties. Tippett goal unassisted for the Panthers.
That was good on Boris Kachuk for the Lightning. When that dog pile happened and everybody's involved. Last couple of years in the American League, he jumped right in there to help his teammates as well.
The player nicely shakes free, but then it was knocked away by point. Andre Palat. And Spencer Knight makes the save. Now the 21-22 season begins next week. It is a return to pre-pandemic division, so everything is back to normal. Every team plays each other. We have Arizona moving from the Pacific to the Central because we got a new squad. The Kraken are in existence.
The only thing I don't like about this season outlook, only 4 games in the division. Panthers and Lightning only play 4 times in the regular
After this
season.
game and after last year, we want to see them 8 times again. You think people were getting tired of it last year, understandably. Not so much this rivalry, but certainly others. But we are definitely back to normal. And yeah, it's going to be great to go out to Seattle and see their building too. That is state of the art from everything I've heard. And interesting, of course, to see them get off their first inaugural season and see how they do. Tough footsteps to follow in after what Vegas did, huh?
It is a high bar for what Vegas set, no question about it. Well, good luck to Ron Francis, the whole crew in Seattle. And all the fans are juiced up. Owen Tippett, who just scored, breaks in. Drop for Lomberg. Vasilevsky fights it off with the blocker. Puck squirts free. Tippett in front. Couldn't get the shot away. Picked up by Huberdeau. Turns and fires, and Vasilevsky makes a save. Jonathan Huberdeau so slick in the traffic. Now he feeds Lomberg. Vasilevsky stops him from the sharp angle. So Lomberg getting on this line here with Sam Bennett in the penalty box. Getting the shift with Tippett and Huberdeau and making it pay off. And now Lightning clear. A little more than 5 gone by in the third.
Always have to know where Huberdeau is, huh? He's just got that timing to come into the scoring area. After Bogosian had made 2 nice plays with his stick right in front of his own net to break up plays, there was a loose puck. Who jumped on it? Huberdeau, and got that chance before Bogosian or anybody else could get to it.
And Noah Chari left the game after the fights, battles a few minutes ago. He'll leave the ice in some pain.
I remember back in that second period, killing penalties when he blocked that shot with that open hand. You're right. I'm not quite sure if that
Absolutely right.
had something to do with it.
That is his game. I mean, he's always playing that style. Panthers 4th line center, Achari. Krisky under heavy pressure, able to squirt it free. Nice job with Palat and point right on him. But Sergachev steals the lead pass. Point puts the brakes on. Barre Boulet right in front for Palat, off his skate though. He was open. Oh, Reinhardt took a shoulder from Palat. Tampa Bay outshot the Panthers 11-5 in the second, but Panthers have held them to just 1 shot on goal here in the third, nearly 7 minutes into it.
Randy, earlier I think you were talking about Tippett, saying that he's put on some good upper body strength and put on a few pounds. That's always an interesting scenario for any player. How much weight, how much do you change your body weight in the off-season? I'll give you a good example. Andre Palat, 3 years ago. He'd been in the league already about 5 years. Did way too much heavy weight lifting. As soon as he got to camp, he knew it. And he did not have a very good year 3 years ago. He lost his quickness. So 2 years ago and last year completely changed his training. Nice save.
Yeah, big scramble there in front of a 3-on-1, and Knight makes the save.
And a very similar story was Aaron Ekblad, his first year, and had a phenomenal rookie season. He did the same thing. Came into camp the second year, and
bulked up too much.
Yeah, he said he just felt sluggish and he rectified that very quickly for his third year. But
you have to be really careful. It doesn't matter how long you've been in the league. Sure, you have to be strong, but quickness is a lot more important in today's game, and you can really mess yourself up.
Owen Tippett on the breakaway gives the Panthers the lead in the third period. In the preseason, right now a 2-1 lead on the Lightning. Let's get to our Toyota Road Ahead. We talked about Tampa Bay and the TV coverage earlier. Take a look at our Panthers coverage brought to us by Toyota. 74 regular season games on Valley Sports Florida and on the app. Opening night next Thursday. We'll start the pregame show at 6 p.m. Of course, you can always follow the team and Valley Sports Florida on social media as well.
all these penalties and the injury to Achari has forced Joel Quenneville and the coaching staff to scramble up the lines. And
well, that's the one thing in these preseason games, you know, everybody always says you want to get out of it without the injury is the number one key. Loose here in the Tampa zone. Pretty slick there by Losterinen. Gudis Rister deflected in behind. Sergachev lost it though. Ludabar with a shot blocked away by Andre Vasilevsky. Tampa's at 26 shots now. Spencer Knight has 25 saves. It's his second game of the preseason for the young Panther goalie. Only allowed one goal in that game on 30 shots. Now Bennett is back on the ice. Weegar read that play nicely, picked it off. Bennett misses wide. Weegar has become so good at cutting off plays at center, and Owen Tippett fires and scores again. That's two here in the third period for Tippett against Vasilevsky.
Well, the quick hands again and a give and go. Tippett knew that he was going to get that puck from Jonathan Huberdeau just inside the blue line, and you'll see him take that puck on his forehand and curl in, and look at, knew right away he had the time and the space, but he let it go. The screen in front by Bennett and right through Vasilevsky.
What a great shot. That's a goal scorer's goal, no doubt. Traffic in front, big-time distraction for Vasilevsky. He seemed to be looking like he was expecting something on his glove side, and that was low on the short side, on the stick side. A heck of a shot. How we talked about the confidence he would have gotten from that break-in that he had in the first goal that he scored. And Owen Tippett showing a lot of confidence on that shot.
Delayed penalty on Tampa as they hook Duclair, so Knight is on the bench. Panthers have the extra skater. On a delayed penalty, Aaron Ekblad over to Huberdeau. They got all the big boys on the ice here. Barkov gets a touch. Tampa needs a touch to get a whistle. Barkov centering past the flex. And now the whistle blows.
Penalty.
So the Panthers will go on the power play. Owen Tippett, 10th overall pick in their draft a few years ago, having himself quite a training camp and preseason for Florida now.
That's what it's all about. When you get an opportunity to play with skilled players like Bennett and Huberdeau, Owen Tippett has taken that and shown that he can really be a top 6 forward for the Florida Panthers.
Yep. Holding the call on Jan Ruda, the Tampa Bay defenseman, and now Tippett is out there on the power play. By the way, that's not some franchise's, 4th or 5th goalie in a preseason game. That's still Andre Vasilevsky. He may not be at his, playoff peak level right now, but he's still Andre Vasilevsky.
Yeah, that was a heck of a shot.
Now Barkov gets it set. Huberdeau. Tippett is down below the goal line. Huberdeau moves in. Sets up Barkov for a shot wide. Huberdeau, one of the best passers in the league. Picks it up on the rebound here. Little catch with his centerman Bennett. Bellemare and Joseph, the forwards on the ice for Tampa. Huberdeau, Tippett in front, Bennett. Couldn't get it on net clean. Vasilevsky gets a whistle, and Chernak bumps with Tippett, and then Huberdeau with Sergachev, and here comes Bennett. He and Sergachev are going to go. Sam Bennett, his second fight of the night.
Sergachev went for the big haymaker early, and he missed. So he's off balance, and then Bennett came right back at him, and they end up getting tangled up and going down pretty hard onto the ice.
Well, one thing that's been evident in this game, and anytime the Panthers get anywhere close to Vasilevsky, and that was a perfect example here when that shot came through right here, Bennett, and then there's Tippett, and then that just brings the response to everybody. Bennett gets a little push from behind, and then that's how it all starts.
Yeah, Matthew Joseph gave him the stick, and then he went at it with Sergachev.
Yeah, Sergachev came right in with the forearm there and got Bennett, and Bennett pushed him back. Sergei doesn't hesitate anymore. He had a fight with Jake McCabe in Buffalo a couple of years ago where Jake McCabe kept goading Sergachev. Come on, come on. All of a sudden, Sergachev dropped the mitts, and he dusted him. He dusted Jake McCabe. And from then on, Sergachev has been way more aggressive. It added a lot to his confidence defensively, and he's not shy about dropping the mitts, as you can see.
2 more 5 for fighting tonight here in Orlando. Panthers remain on the power play. Well, I guess we're lucky Patrick Hornquist isn't suited up for this one. He'd be in the middle of all this.
Oh, yeah.
Jonathan Huberdeau controls, sets up Barkov, one-timer, place it, blocked it, and clears. And Sam Bennett, he is the type of guy. The Panthers need to change the personality of this team. They did last year, and he has really been not only the offensive production, but type of style that he plays, as we're seeing here tonight. Very disappointed when he was suspended for that game 2 of the series last year against the Lightning after the hit on Coleman. Tippett set up in the slot. Huberdeau fires, blocked. Now Tippett works it up high. Power play is over. Here's Tippett. blocked away, looking for the hat trick.
What a pass that was by Barkov. Wow, right through the seam. One touched it right on the tape to Tippett to try and get him that hat trick, and Tippett was ready for it. Got the shot away.
Braden Point trying to run out of his own zone. Lomberg doing some dirty work.
Braden Point's such a treat to watch every night. It's incredible the amount of influence he has on the game. He's on the top 85 to 90 percentile plus in zone exits and zone entries. In other words, when he's out on the ice, who do they give it to as soon as they can? He just transports the puck so easily through so much distance and just gets you in the zone. And especially when he's with Kucherov and he can have a give and go. I mean, they can really dismantle teams through the neutral zone just because Braden's so fast and so skilled with the puck.
He was incredible last year in that when the playoffs started. Kucherov, of course, missed the whole season with injury. And he came in and there was no adjustment time. They were clicking right off the get-go.
No, Kuch is a machine, and you knew he was highly motivated. He was working hard, and people ask me, how long do you think it'll take for him to come back? I said, no time at all, and sure enough, he was putting points up right away.
But Toronto's going to go here. Penalty called on him, so Tampa, with 6:33 to go, will get a power play chance. Florida leads 3-1.
Play perhaps to carve into this 3-1 Panther advantage. Andrei Vasilevsky, and 90 nights ago this evening, he won the Conn Smythe, the most valuable player. It's been a very short offseason, but he had an opportunity to bring the Stanley Cup and the Conn Smythe home to Mother Russia.
Very rare, too. There's a great picture that he posted on social media with a couple of his Russian compatriots taking home not only the Stanley Cup, but the Conn Smythe.
That's correct. The Conn Smythe had never been in Russia. Kenny Malkin had won it, Gino had, along with Ovi, but they had never taken the Conn Smythe back to Russia. The opportunity there for Vazzy to do so, guys. You can see there back in Russia, as well as Nikita Kucherov at a sterling postseason, as well as a man with a fight here tonight in Mikhail Sergachev.
Very cool on the celebrations. Lightning certainly had a good time with the boat parade. And now the bar is so high in this league because nobody can ever celebrate the way Yanni Gourde celebrated, I don't think. What a time he had.
Oh, yeah, he's a beauty, and he will be well missed by the fans and by his teammates. Yanni became a very popular player, and of course was picked up by Seattle in the expansion draft.
Hey, you guys did a great job on the coverage on Valley Sports.
Oh, it was a tough job. But
No, Randolph and Kennedy had a tough job. You were out there on the boat. I watched. Now, you can't get that by me. You had the good assignment.
I didn't get seasick. That was good.
Tampa tried to get it to a one-goal game. Good save there by Spencer Knight.
there's
on Rifors.
another example, Brian, that you just saw Spencer Knight hardly moved a muscle. Just squared up to the shooter and just allowed that puck to just hit him right in the chest.
Yeah, Rifors going to have to get used to these NHL goaltenders and how he comes in off the wing. That was a good setup by Barry Boulet again. Barry Boulet has made some nice plays. He's a guy the Lightning really like. He spent his time in the American League. He's very smart. He's a small guy. He's got really good hands. And he's the one that delayed and let Rifors come with speed and gave it to him exactly the right time.
Oh, Barry Boulet had a chance there, but it just rolled off his tape. And mentioned the AHL. Yeah, the road to Tampa goes through Syracuse. They do a great job there. Howie Dolgan, the owner, and the whole Syracuse Crunch front office. So many of these players have come through yet. Benny Grew. Yep. Long time ago, he was a head coach for the Panthers in the AHL in Rochester.
Yeah, he's developed a lot of terrific young talent.
Puck was touched with a high stick by Aaron Ekblad. That's the whistle with 4:31 left. And the Panthers maintaining the 2-goal lead in the third. 3-1, Owen Tippett, a couple of third-period goals. Panther fans, the FLA Live app is an all-new interactive arena mobile app to enhance and personalize your visit to the arena. Get your tickets in there. You can order food on it, play Panthers Predict and more. So download the app now. Set up your account. Panthers home opener and the regular season opener next Thursday against Pittsburgh. First, the Penguins on Tuesday night will play the Lightning in Tampa on the banner-raising evening. Owen Tippett's been the star of the third period with 2 goals, snapping the 1-1 tie, and then adding to the lead. Colton knocked away by Reinhart. Tippett, by the way, needs an assist for a Gordie Howe hat trick. Bennett needs a goal. 2 fights and a helper so far for the Panthers center, Sam Bennett. Tampa goal was scored by Belmar from Maroon late in the second. They wave off the icing. Kostarinen with Bogosian. Steal by Vetrano at center. Waits for his teammates to get on side. Vasilevsky got a piece of that.
Smart play by Vetrano. He was just poaching there in the neutral zone. You could see Corey Perry wanted to make that long diagonal pass. That's a tough one. When you turn the puck over like that, you got a lot of guys trapped. And it's not something Corey Perry is going to want to do on a regular basis. You don't see him do that often, but Vetrano just kind of disguised it and picked it off, and right away they're going the other direction.
Killorn out to center. White jerseys all around him to take it away. And now Owen Tippett back out there. Fires on goal. Saved by Vasilevsky. Point trying to find this puck. Less than 3 minutes to go now in the third.
When you watch Owen Tippett here, that shows that the maturity and the elevation of play. We see a hit right there.
Yeah, that's a penalty on the Panthers.
Yeah.
Joseph was a little slow getting up, and then Killorn jumps in on Lomberg.
As soon as Joseph went down at the blue line, that got everybody's attention, and Alex Killorn came flying in on Lomberg right along the wall. Nobody really had a chance to throw any punches there, I don't think, because he just jumped on him, and they're down in a dog pile right away.
Lomberg is second season now with the Panthers, so he'll head off to the dressing room.
Oh, yeah, that was a blindsider, all right. Joseph.
Yeah, that bouncing puck.
Yeah. Those ones hurt when you come from the blind side like that. And you work the guy around.
Yeah, they did call Killorn as well because he's going to the penalty box, but Lomberg went to the dressing room. All this with 2:37 to go. Boy, last 2 periods we've seen a lot of those pileups.
Yeah, the blindside hits are something that the NHL's cracked down, and well, they should, over the last several years. And he came from that backside there. There's a look at Matthew Joseph, who's another guy. This is a real key year for him. I mean, he has a chance to really step in and play a big-time role. He played a fair amount for the team last year. He had 12 goals. He's a gazelle. I mean, he can skate all day. Wiry, really built. He'll play a physical game. He can score from in close. I don't know that he's a great goal scorer, but this is an opportunity for him to grab hold of a regular spot, Randy, and really get something done this year.
By the way, 10-minute misconducts for both Lomberg and Killorn. Lomberg did get the extra 2. Owen Tippett is going to serve the penalty, so Tampa will get a power play out of all this.
I think the referees have just had enough of this, right? They're going to clamp down on this.
Now, are they going to Tampa for Thursday? This crew, I wonder.
Good point.
540 minutes in penalties over the 14 games that the Panthers and the Lightning met last year.
So it was unreal. The last 2 games in the playoffs were.
It's what we all love. I mean, you love to see the emotion. We don't see anybody get hurt. And when you play rough, though, guys do get hurt. But this is not going to stop. This just sets the table for the entire season.
They'll play for real 2 weeks from tonight in the first of 4 regular season meetings. That one in Tampa.
You want to tell these guys this isn't real?
Right, that's true. Doesn't look like it. And Vasilevsky is heading off. So now Tampa's got a 6-on-4 advantage. The net is empty. The troop came on the ice.
Oh, and here we got another one.
Front. Oh, yeah, Bogosian just swinging away at Marchment. Jack Bogosian all over Marchment, trying to battle his way back. Marchment gets a couple of shots in there.
Oh, 2 tough customers there. We talked about Marchment, the job he did for Florida in the playoffs.
They are still throwing him. This is a long one. Johnny Murray, the linesman, trying to get in there. So it's Killian McNamara, and finally they separate.
There was no hesitation. Now, when they're at scrum, that puck was over in the far boards there, and there was a little bump. Bogosian was the instigator in that one, where he just found somebody, a dance partner, and then his gloves were off.
Yeah, he plays with a big-time edge. He's a very physical guy and somebody that the Lightning were looking to get. Again, he was with the Lightning when they won the first cup. Then last year he went to Toronto. His experience level, about 700 games in the league, but he plays physical, and he does this kind of stuff. Steps up when the games get rough, and he's more than willing to oblige, and that's the element that the Lightning added before they won their first cup that they really didn't have prior to that, and it was a difference maker for them winning cups.
Well, it's been a difference for the Panthers as well, you know, getting guys like Lomberg and Marchment and now Bennett. You know, there was a time where, you know, the Panthers would not engage in this kind of stuff, and it wasn't very long ago. Then you add Gudas in there, and now it's a whole team that'll stand toe-to-toe, play however you want. These are just, you know, 2 very complete hockey teams. Of course, Tampa trying to win the cup for the 3rd straight time this year. Only 3 other teams have ever done that. Montreal, of course, won 5 in a row and then 4. Islanders won 4 in a row. Toronto, way back when, won 3 in a row twice. More misconduct given out. A 10-minute misconduct penalty. Well, Tampa still has a 6-on-4 advantage with Vasilevsky on the bench. Florida penalty to number 17, Mason Marchment. 5 minutes for fighting.
Well, the Lightning are trying to get with the 6-on-4 advantage here late in this 3rd period. They're trying to get set up on the power play, and the Panthers really have cutting off all those passing lanes. And
Sergachev with Schuster up high. Big blast from the point, deflected by Bellemare, and it's up and out of play.
The 3 guys that run the power play for the Lightning are Kucherov, not in the lineup, Victor Hedman up top, not in the lineup, and Stamkos, the gunner, over on the left wing side. So that makes the biggest difference. They have the puck all the time, and they run it.
Yeah, they don't have Point or Palat on the ice late in the game. Minute and a half to go. Ekblad pressured Radek. Finally a shot, and Sergachev rips it home. And it's a one-goal game with 1:15 left.
And here we go again.
To it again. It's Maroon at the Panther net, tangled up with Weegar.
Yeah, that's Weegar. Weegar took exception. There's a little collision before that puck went sailing past Spencer Knight, and it was Maroon that was there, and Weegar responded.
I got to tell you, this has been about as entertaining of a preseason game as you could possibly get. And
we all love it, right?
Here's the setup. They get it back right in the middle of the ice. Look at the traffic out in front. And then there was just a little bump right there by Maroon after the goal was scored, coming through the crease, and the expected response of
Maroon knew.
Yeah, the Mackenzie Weegar.
Weegar cross-checked Maroon just before that. Cross-checked him across the back, stuff that happens in front of the net all the time. And then Maroon, who was always in the middle of it, didn't respond, but he knew Weegar was coming at him. So yeah, just a little touch of the goal pad, and turns around. He's waiting for Weegar to come right at him.
So they get 2 each for roughing. And look, the benches are starting to get a little thin.
And these guys have long memories, right? You start to remember stuff. Remember what happened in Game 3? Remember what you did to me in the corner that time? Boom. You know, it's one of those things that happen. You think, well, why did you guys fight there? Well, you know, it's something that happened last year sometimes.
So Joel Quenneville is red hot. I mean, he wants the officials to come over there. I'm thinking he's upset that there was an initial bump on Bobrovsky, or should I say Knight in the first place. He's about as hot as Q will get on the bench.
Oh, yeah.
It is a preseason game. You love to see the intensity. So, 3-2 game now. Vasilevsky is back in because the power play is over. Sam Bennett, lead pass Barkov. Skipped away from him. Sergachev went down. Panthers have Nudavar and Gudas on the ice. Weegar had to go for 2 minutes on the penalty. Vasilevsky now to the bench again. And it's a 6-on-5. Perry to the net, saved by Knight, and then he gets barreled over and then fallen on top of by Corey Perry. Oh, Perry driving the net, followed through and landed on Knight hard.
At 18:45.
I think Corey Perry is going to get penalty too. Yeah.
Well, he should. I thought the initial contact was okay, was his momentum, but then he fell on top of him. He finished it off WWE style. That's not okay. Again, that's my perspective.
He came knifing through and had a really good bid on net, but as you said, Knight very calm in net, didn't show him anything. And then Perry put the brakes on, but then did go on top of him afterwards. There's the shot. Now, he does get pushed a little bit from behind, and he ends up right on top of Knight. And goaltenders are always in a tough spot here. They get bent over backwards.
He's going to the penalty box with 37.5 seconds left.
See, here's Reinhart comes in at the end. Corey Perry's right there. And he wants a piece of that puck, trying to keep it alive after the save. Reinhart comes in and pushes him, and then Perry makes sure he gets a piece of the goaltender. And we continue on the way we have most of the game.
Well, now the faceoff will be in the Tampa zone. It'll be a 4-on-3 power play for Florida, I believe. We had penalties on Maroon and Weegar. Then, yeah, Tampa's got to send a guy off. So.
I know Andre Vasilevsky's at the other end going, yeah, I remember what Corey Perry feels like in those situations. We saw him 2 years in a row in the playoffs, and they had a couple of run-ins. It's the way Perry plays.
Now Knight able to get up, and he's still in the game. He's all right. Half a minute to go. Panthers will just try to hang on to this puck. Everybody will head to Tampa, day off tomorrow, and then same two on Thursday night. And then Saturday night at FLA Live Arena in Sunrise. Ekblad chased by Colton, finally unloads. And that'll do it. Owen Tippett, a couple of goals in the third. Spencer Knight makes it stand up for Florida. 3-2 preseason win, the Panthers over the Lightning.
Yeah, that was a big step for Owen Tippett. He's had a good preseason and a couple of big goals, including the game winner for the Florida Panthers, and happy for this young player. He's a big part of the Panthers, of what they're trying to accomplish this year, and getting an opportunity to play in big minutes.
This game is all about the emotion. It really sets the table going into the regular season. It's a continuation of what we saw, the tremendous hockey and just the war mentality that they have when these two teams go at each other. They hate each other. It makes for great hockey coming up in the regular season.
But we love each other. Good time in the booth with you, Brian. We're coming back with more.
Thanks, guys.
Hear from Orlando. We'll hear from Owen Tippett. Game-winning goal tonight. We return.